Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz.
Brown Couch Bruhz, once again, East Side. How do I do how do you do that?
you got to turn that boy over. That boy over.
East Side here on Jefferson, getting it in again.
Brown Couch Bruhz, we hit back again. Gotta love this. Gotta love this, man.
This is what we live for.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, in customary fashion, let's toast it up.
And you know what?
Toast. What's
good about this toast is this type of year, man, this weather, you can leave your drink in the car.
And
it still be cold. Gotta love it, man. Brown Couch Bruhz.
That's a little good water. That's what I used to say.
There you go.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, fellas.
Yeah, Happy New Year, man.
2025.
There we go.
25.
Another year.
Another year. Any New Year's resolutions?
Man, just whatever I did in 24 to get here to 25, I just want to keep that ball rolling, man.
You know what? It's a real quick story. It's not a long story, but I don't know if you remember, and a coworker, Rob Gray, got to give my boy Rob Gray a shout out. He said, and I remember this, he said, the Jetsons, this was the year, 2025.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, this was back in the 70s.
That's
when
right.
the Jetsons was on, it was like flying around in 2025. Cars would be flying, this all of that. So we in 2025 and we made it. Your cars not
Cars
flying.
ain't flying.
Cars ain't flying.
But we here.
You got Cybertrucks, but you ain't got
Jetsons
cars
gone, but we here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, I didn't know that was 2025.
That was the year 2025.
Wow.
25.
Jetsons.
Well, clearly the Simpsons writers didn't write that. Because the Simpsons be on top of everything.
They've been on for what? Almost 40?
What, the
35? Yeah.
At least 30.
Yeah, but
right?
you know,
At least 30.
They,
At least 30.
they call some stuff out. That,
Yeah.
That comes
They
to
have.
fruition.
They have.
So,
Yeah,
so you got to give them writers some credit on that.
They did.
That's right.
Well, I got one New Year's resolution. It's more of a goal than a resolution. I'm probably about a 21, 22 handicap. I'm going for 15 this year.
Uh-oh.
15 handicap.
15? Resolution?
15 handicap this year.
For this year.
For this year. Coming up, 25, 15 handicap.
You about to
I'm going for it.
Yeah, you about to lead a Q tour. You about to do your own thing.
I wish, man. I wish. All right, let's tip it off, fellas. Jess, what you got for your tip off today?
Well, man, here we go, man. This Jimmy Butler thing, man. Jimmy Butler, again. I hate he left Philly. You know, that was my squad.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
everywhere he just left, it's always been on some shaky terms. Now he barking up, I think, the wrong tree with Pat Riley. You know, Pat Riley will cut you loose. You know, and so whatever differences they got, he's at the age of 35, averaging about 17. And Miami is making a move, this youth movement. So Jimmy Butler didn't ask for a trade. I'm going to tell you what Jimmy Butler really messed up. He told him, you know, trade me to Phoenix, Dallas, or Golden State. So I'm going to tell you where he really messed up is if you remember The Wire, and our audience probably remember The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Weebay and Lil Man, they shot Lieutenant Griggs?
Yeah.
And and he went to Stringer and he, told him what happened. Stringer was like, where your people at? He was like, New York, Jersey, Cleveland. And as soon as he said it, Stringer was like, all right, so you going to Philly or DC? You don't tell Pat Riley where you want to go because he's not going to send you there, man. He ain't going to make it right for you. So, he's mentioned Phoenix, Dallas, Golden State. Yep, I'm sure he like, all right, Charlotte, Washington, Detroit, what y'all going to give me for this guy?
We don't want him, man. We don't want him here in Detroit, man. We only want those who want us.
Yeah, man. So I think he ruffled the wrong feathers, man. We're going to see they suspended him for 7 games. Really, that just means you'll never play for Miami again.
That's all.
That's all. So that's all that is. Gave him a little runway to get this guy out of town. But sorry to see it. I know when he get to wherever he's going, though, he gonna play hard. He gonna make a difference. He gonna try to prove a point. But at 35 and career kind of declining, I don't know how much of a point it's gonna work out. So yeah. We'll see, man. But shout out to Jimmy Butler, man, and I hope the best for the brother, bro.
Well, the one thing good about it for Jimmy Butler, he guaranteed $52 million next year, period. Wherever
no matter
what. Trading,
okay.
he got guaranteed $52 million. So if Pat Riley don't trade him, he gonna make his 52 and end up being a free agent. So Pat gonna end up trading him. It's just a matter, like you said, where and when.
Yeah, I don't think nobody else want to give him another max though.
Oh no,
not at 35.
He's done with max deal. He don't want max deals in his future. No way.
I agree.
What you got for your tip off, Webb?
Man, I gotta tell these young guys, man, respect old school, man. Eric Dickinson came out, and was like, look, no, I don't want him to break my rushing record. And, here's a guy who got a gold jacket, Hall of Fame. He got 2,105 yards. He did it in 15 games. He broke OJ record. No, he did it in 15. OJ got 2003 and 14. Then you got these guys like Pac-Man Jones and LaShawn McCoy talking about, be quiet, old man. You're hating. No, he ain't hating. He a Hall of Famer. That's what he is. And he represents the game well. So my thing to those young bucks, get you a gold jacket. ED got one.
Yeah, ED got his.
ED got his.
It fits him nice.
Fits him nice. Fits him nice. One of the greatest running backs to ever play the game.
For sure. Well, speaking of gold jackets.
Oh,
Lord.
I think it's only fitting.
Can I go sit this one out?
I think it's only fitting that I bring out my trophy from last year's Blackstone Super Bowl championship that I won. And guess what? We went back to back.
Back to back.
Shout out to Kibbles and Bits for going back to back in
Kibbles
the
and Bits went
Fantasy
back to
Football
back.
League this
He did it
year.
again. He did it again.
It was a long, hard roll.
Oh, Lord.
A lot of guys didn't think we'd make it. But here we are. We went back to back.
You put a good team together, bro.
We put a good team together. I had a little luck.
Had a little luck
going in.
Had a little luck.
But some quality coaching. Quality ownership and a good draft.
Self-proclaimed.
A good draft will get you back-to-back championships, man. And this trophy isn't going anywhere. Just like I said about 4 weeks ago.
You did say this.
It's not going anywhere. It'll be here.
that.
And the only way it's leaving is when they get another plaque
The other plaque
on this side
Yeah.
to go back-to-back.
You trying to do Kansas City, huh? Next year?
Well, yeah.
Well, first Kansas City got to win it again.
They got to win it
3 in a
again.
row.
Well, they go 3 in a row.
You on the same game plan.
Yeah, man, and it's funny, man. Guys are already gunning for me.
Gunning.
Man. Don't want me to win 3 in a row, man.
Hey, man, it's never been done before in our league.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
we don't want it done
Hey,
now.
man,
Yeah.
well, records are made to be broken.
One quick question to that.
Now, if you ask AD, now if you ask ED. Yeah, you ask ED, no.
So where did the 10-team league draft? Where did you draft at? You remember the number?
I think I drafted 5th or 6th.
Okay.
Who was your first pick?
5th or 6th.
You took
Who was my first
Josh
pick?
Allen. Did you take?
No, Josh Allen was my second pick. I think my first pick was who's my first pick? I think I went running back.
Okay.
Henry. No.
Derrick Henry. I think was my
Henry,
first.
yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I went Derrick Henry in the first round.
Yeah, which
With
I
Derrick
thought was
Henry in the
kinda high
first
at that
round.
point, at
The
that.
second round, I went Amon-Ra St. Brown and came back and got Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's a solid 3.
Yeah,
That's your Super Bowl right there.
Yeah, that's solid
winning for you right
man.
there.
That's my
And
Super
you did
Bowl.
this at the 5th pick. So
Yeah.
it just goes to show that no matter where you at in the draft, some people don't like the middle because it takes too long. They like to double up at the top or the bottom. So it don't matter where you at. It's just,
Yeah, that's 5, 6, 7.
You just get it. You get it right.
man,
You get it
yeah.
right.
You get it right. You get it right.
You got to know what you're doing, man. Have a little luck on your side, and
And clearly you knew what you was doing.
I mean, hey, man.
The results
You know?
speak for they.
Hey, man.
Back to back. You
What
back to
more
back.
can I say?
What more can
What
he
more
say?
can I say? But it's a great season, man, and all those, all the guys in Blackstone, man, that I beat this year. Appreciate your effort.
Again.
Who won
I
the
beat
pink
you
shirt?
again this year. So,
George
here
got
we
the
go.
shirt, huh? Okay.
Oh, George wearing the pink shirt. Huh?
Yeah, pink shirt. Shout out to GOAT wearing the pink shirt next year.
Yeah, for the audience that doesn't know, the guy with the worst record in the league has to wear a pink shirt at the draft next year.
A tight fitting pink shirt.
Yeah,
and
nice and snug. Nice and snug. All right, so this week in sports, fellas, Adrian Dantley. Back in 1982, AD, when he was playing for the Utah Jazz, went 28 for 29 from the free throw line, breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record. And we know AD really well here in the city of Detroit.
Yes, we do.
Because he played for the Pistons when the Pistons were making their run up to the top. And AD, man, wasn't a part of that championship team, but it was a joy for me watching him. How he always got fouled, get to the free throw line, get to the cup, get to the free throw
Didn't
line.
seem too athletic. Just
wasn't that
was a poor man's James Harden.
Yeah, but he'll just rock you to AD or rock
Yeah.
you to sleep,
And then
put that body on you. and want to get to the free throw line, man.
He was only about what, 6'5"?
If that, man. But it was a science for AD back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he had to go. Too bad he couldn't be a part of those Pistons championship teams, man. Isaiah didn't like him. The ball stopped with that guy, so Isaiah didn't like him. Had to go get his homeboy, Mark Aguirre.
Zeke team, Zeke way. That's
exactly what it was.
That's how it was back then.
So let me just be clear. So Shaq didn't hold this record at all?
I don't even think Shaq could make 28 free throws.
Man, Shaq probably couldn't make 28 free throws if he was in the gym by himself. Forget about a game.
Right.
Man, so AD, man, they used to call it, well, in Detroit, we knew the ball didn't move through him, but it was always a bucket with him.
Yeah.
And from Utah to Detroit, I always respected his game.
Oh, I love AD. I love this game. Matter of fact, that particular game, he ended up with 46. And I know I was looking at another podcast with Carmelo Anthony, and he said AD taught him a valuable lesson as far as saving your money. A lot of people seen AD out there as a crossing guard.
Yeah, he was.
He was a school crossing guard. But a lot of people don't know, he's still a millionaire because he saved his money and invested it well. So all you young guys out there, man, save your money, man, invest it, and if you got to go the cheap way, go cheap.
Well, AD did that. He was a crossing guard for the insurance money, for the health insurance.
For the health insurance.
Yeah, because, back then you couldn't get, once you retired, and then come with the health insurance. They didn't have that level of foresight back then for guys to be able to have health care once they get older.
Right. Yeah.
So he got a job simply for the health insurance.
Just for the health insurance.
Not the money, but for the health insurance.
Yep.
So look, okay, when he left Detroit, Aguirre came. He came. Didn't they offer AD a ring? He just said, "Nah, I'm good," because I thought he met the criteria.
That.
You don't remember? Okay,
I don't remember that. Right, I know it was halfway through the season.
Yeah, so I think he met.
So he was eligible for one?
For a ring, and he turned it down. Like, nah.
I would have turned it down too.
Yeah, he definitely turned it down.
If I ain't earned it, man, I don't want no ring from a team I didn't play and earn it, and at least play in the finals for it.
Yeah. Well, it's still a mystery too on what was said between him and Isaiah that first time that they met after the trade. I don't know if y'all ever remember the photo of it, but he whispered something to Isaiah's ear. They had a little,
I can tell you what he said.
What he said?
You got our beef thing.
Clean, keep it clean.
You
Yeah.
So, but hey, shout out to AD, man. He was a great player, Hall of Fame player, man. And, I think he might be in the top 20 all-time scoring. I know he got at least 25,000 points.
Oh, he definitely up there, man.
Yeah,
AD was put it down for a long time. Great scorer, man. Undersized scorer in the league back then. So it's game time. Let's talk a little college football. College playoffs have started. We're down to the Final Four. Down to our Final Four. Any surprises? We got Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Notre Dame making it to the Final Four. Some interesting matchups that we'll talk about in just a second. But are you surprised that the top 1, 2, 3 seeds did not make the Final Four?
1, 2, 3, 4, wasn't it?
1, 2, 3, 4 did not make
with 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, Texas is 5.
Right.
So the first 4 seeds did not make the Final Four.
Well, that's the surprise to me, that all the bye teams did not make the Final Four. As a matter of fact, they all lost first time they got out there. Now, 2 of them probably shouldn't have been there with the bye. Make a case with Boise, Arizona. Arizona State, if they would have did it the right way, they probably wouldn't have got the bye. But outside of that, because the team they played was just better than them. I'm surprised that Oregon, the fight that they put up, or lack thereof.
Yeah, man.
Ohio State came out as a wrecking crew on them, man. So that's my biggest surprise. My other couple of surprises is how well the Big Ten has done in these bowls, and the SEC, they're about 8-6 bowl wise. However, the CFP, they 2-2, but Texas went in both of them. So that's a surprise. Everybody said it's always the Big Ten, SEC. Let's put the most of their teams in, and it's not holding the form for the SEC at this point. So that's a surprise I got.
My biggest surprise, not an individual team, maybe just an individual player, in Scatterboo with Arizona State, man. He was very impressive, man. I think he raised his draft stock on the next level. The guy showed his versatility. He runs hard. He's an every down back, if not definitely a third down back
for sure
in the NFL. As far as surprises, no, I thought it went the way it should have went. This Penn State game and Notre Dame game gonna be kind of interesting because both their quarterbacks are kind of like Penn State quarterback is not a runner, but they don't really have the weapons that you can say, quote unquote, Ohio State have. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Texas, Ohio State, that's going to be a good one. I think by the game being played in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State does travel well, and they peaking right now. So that's going to be a good game, man. And obviously, I'm thinking Ohio State going to win the game, but hey, man, this is college football playoffs. Yeah, you got to come with your A game.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen. But I guess I'm surprised, with Oregon, really not putting up much of a fight against Ohio State. And then Georgia losing early, I thought was a little bit surprising. I'm not surprised about Boise. I'm not surprised by Arizona State. I think the tougher the conference, the better position you're going to be in the college playoff with 12 teams. You play top competition. Different styles of play throughout the league. You look at the Big Ten, with adding the West Coast teams this year, I think you get a different feel of style of play, different talent, different ways of playing the game. And I think they're actually a little bit at an advantage from other teams because there's so many different styles of play.
Talking about the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten in general. So teams like Ohio State and Oregon and Penn State are going to be better positioned to go far in the 12-team playoff because they're playing top competition and they're playing and exposed to different styles of play throughout their league.
Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about, 12-team playoff, do you think this is sustainable? Or do you think we should go to at least 8, considering that the first 4 got popped, the top 4 got popped, and you're getting teams that's getting bye weeks that's probably could have hurt them having that week off. Whereas if you want to use Ohio State as an example, they got popped by Michigan. They had a week off, but then they hopped right into the playoffs. If you break it down to 8 teams, then you might have a week off, and then you hop right into the playoffs. So teams like Boise, Arizona State, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have been there, but Boise and teams of that caliber, they probably wouldn't have made the playoffs. Well, Boise would have this year, of course, but you want to get the best 8 teams into the playoffs. Right. And I'm not saying Alabama was one of the best 8 teams. Michigan peaked late. They beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama. They playing good ball right now. So you never know, man. It's just I think they're going to tweak it a little. I think we'll do 12 again next year, depending on what the contract states, for the next couple of years. But I don't know if this 12 team going to work as far as that. Are they trying to get it like NCAA basketball? The more teams, the better? Or so you just condense it to keep it more than 4, but less than 12? Well,
I think the 12 teams, it makes sense to me. I think they got the best 12 teams. I think you can arguably say Alabama should have been a part of this. But then you look at what they did, what happened with, in the bowl game against Michigan.
Right.
You say, I don't know. Right. But I think 12 teams is fine. I think what these guys are going to have to understand is that the season is much longer if you make that 12 team than it is if you just play your games and have a bowl game at the end. This makes for a very long season. I think the championship game is going to be January 20th.
Yep.
These guys started back in August. July for some of them with, spring ball and June, with spring ball and everything. So this is a long season. But you see, football is king. They want to make it as close to the NFL game as they possibly can while having this many teams in the playoffs. So I think it's something that's here to stay. Kids are going to have to get used to it. You got kids getting paid anyway.
Well, and that's the key.
Like pros.
You're getting paid. You got to play.
You got to play. And so figuring out how to one thing about bye weeks, and I hate this word when people talk about bye weeks, they say, you got a week off. It's not a week off. It's an extra week to prepare for your next opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that college teams have got to look at it. That's the way that these college players have got to look at it. Half of them, they may or may not go home, but if you do, you go home and, take vacation, you do this, you do that. You got to make sure you're taking care of your body and you focus on what you got next, the next game that you got coming up. And so now you're going to see, it's the first year ever, so now you're going to see teams probably prepare differently, especially after seeing some of those teams with bye weeks get bounced early.
Well, I think one of the biggest changes that they're going to look to make is probably going to be the reseeding. Because, Ohio State, Oregon, I think would have been a better game down the line instead of when they played each other now. But if they would have reseeded that, they wouldn't have bumped heads that early.
Well, the argument could be made that, and I know we're talking about college football, but if we want to hop to the pro league, you got a team like the Lions who could possibly lose tomorrow and finish 14-3 and be a 5th seed on the road for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to it, but to your point, I mean, you got a team like Ohio State. They came in number 8, which, like you said, they probably should have been seeded higher. Yeah, but that's the tweaking that's probably need to be done eventually, or moving forward with this 12-team playoff.
Well, right. Well, yeah. That and that's what I'm saying. Just reseed it, and then we'll go from there. Go another year with the buys to keep it at 12. Because once you went to 12, you can't go back. The toothpaste is out the tube, baby. Yeah. It's 12, and then we'll work off the 12.
That sounds like something Johnny Christopher was saying. Toothpaste is out the tube.
So my picks going in, man. I think Ohio State to handle their business. I hate to say this. I think Notre Dame is going to handle theirs. And the reason I hate to say it so much, have nothing against Notre Dame other than join the conference, man. Y'all didn't put yourself on this pedestal. And if they get to the championship.
Too much NBC money, man.
Oh, man. But
that's for years.
If they get
Notre Dame and NBC, they twins.
They twins.
You ain't gonna be able to do that.
You ain't gonna do that. Nah.
You ain't plucking them. They making too much money.
They're making too much money.
So to try to phase them out, not phase them out, or kind of force them, they was like, okay, if you win your conference, you get the bye. So they're like, okay, we didn't get the bye, and we're still in the championship.
Yeah, that's another week to make money.
The thing about the Notre Dame not being in the conference, it's harder for them to make a playoff because they're not in the conference. So they can only lose 1, maybe 2 games, which is pretty much the status quo for all the teams that's in the playoffs.
Right.
But when you don't have that conference championship on your resume to say, I won a conference championship and I should be in the playoffs, Notre Dame don't have that argument because they're not in the conference, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So they just have to keep winning.
Yeah.
And they play a tough schedule.
They do.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, man.
Yeah.
They ain't ducking nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
Notre Dame ain't ducking nobody. And shout out to the Black coach, right?
Yeah. He don't get a lot of pub like Deion get, but he got his team in the semifinals.
Yeah.
They win. They in the national championship game.
Yeah.
And he's former Buckeye.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of touched on your picks. What you got for your picks, Webb? I know this is.
Yeah, I got Ohio State winning the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
You do?
Now. No, and I say that to say because I think right now their identity has changed as far as from an offensive mindset. They were more passive. They was trying to run the ball early. When you got the 3 best receivers in the country, or as a group, you got the 1 best receiver in the country.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah Smith, I think they're going to pass the ball like they did against Oregon to run the ball. And they were successful on both ends. I just thought that coming into the season, that's what they should have had the mindset to do anyway. I thought Chip Kelly, because he was always an innovator of offense, but for some reason they thought that they could just out physical guys. And today, I give them some credit. They had a makeshift offensive line. They lost an All-American tackle. They lost a Big Ten center. So, but they still tried to run the ball. That's what I don't get. But anyway, I got Ohio State. I got Ohio State popping Notre Dame for it all.
So
I got Ryan Day saving his job.
Well, I think this is Ohio State's championship to lose. I think they're the best team left. I think they got 2 wide receivers that are going to play on Sundays, early game, and probably go in the first round of the NFL draft whenever they come out, whenever these 2 guys decide to come out. And I think you touched on it earlier. They're peaking at the right time. They're peaking at the right time. And I think that loss to Michigan may still be in their craw. And I think they're using that as motivation as they move forward in this. You can't go and lose to Michigan the last how many ever years? 4. Last 4 years.
Ask them, they'll tell you.
And have an opportunity right now to win a national championship and not give it your all. So, I think those kids in that locker room are ready. I think Ryan Day listened to you. I don't know if you got the bat phone and you right in tap in tune with Ryan Day, man. But he must have heard you.
He heard something
because they threw that ball early and often. And if they keep that up, man, there's no way that these guys don't win a national championship and they hosting that trophy up. My only question is Lil Webb gonna be at the game? They make it to the national championship.
He already told.
Got to go, right?
Yeah, they make it to the national championship. He's there. Yeah. He already
made the phone call. Yeah, I was about to say he made the phone call.
Yeah, so him and his LB, him and the Sands, they already in talk. So his LB play for Raquan McMillan, play for New England Patriots.
Okay.
So they already talked, and everything is already here.
Well, and the reason why I say that is because that's the last group to win a national championship.
2014, right?
2014.
Exactly.
So
the first group when they started the playoff system.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So they got to represent, right?
Got to represent. Yeah, he was on that team. Yeah, both of them, they were on that team.
So this is going to show. I have Ohio State to win it all, but this is going to show how diabolical Lou Holtz is. Because you remember when Lou Holtz called Ryan Day out?
Yeah, said he was soft.
He was soft. So did he foresee this matchup? They try to flip it.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
So
you're right. Yeah.
So let's find out if Lou Holtz did spit on the microphone enough to get this thing right.
So you got your guarantee. What is Webb's guarantee?
Oh man, so if y'all don't know, man, in episode 38.
Oh Lord.
About 2/3 of the way through, D Webb, the Loaf, guaranteed that if Ohio State beat Oregon, they gonna win it all. So quite honestly, this is over already.
It's over.
Yeah, because you already called it.
It's a done deal.
That was the Loaf.
Standing on that.
You standing on it.
I don't have nothing else to do.
Yeah, he's standing on it. All right, well, he back in.
You know.
He back in.
And if they don't,
Ryan Day's gonna get fired.
But he gonna get fired. And you did say that day.
Yeah, but you got to do something. I mean, you got to get a people something. If they lose, you got to get a people something. Yeah.
He's not gonna wear a Michigan.
Y'all figure that out. Y'all figure that out.
I don't have a Michigan jersey.
You know
to put
what?
On it.
If they lose, I'll wear a Michigan jersey.
Oh,
you heard it
right here live.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
To all my Michigan guys, Mike Taylor, Tony Blankenship, Sam Kirkland, all those guys, Thomas D. Fernandez. I'll wear a Michigan jersey.
Whole show.
Whole show.
Gotta
be the whole show.
I didn't know.
I can't take the shirt off and show all these muscles on.
I'm trying not to give him a loophole in this, man. I just want to make sure we own it.
Whole show.
Whole show.
Whole show.
But y'all got to bring the jersey. I'm not going to pick it out.
I know you're not going to pick one.
Hey, listen, man, don't let this guy fool you. He got one at home.
No, I don't have it.
You got one at home.
I don't have nothing Michigan at home
anymore.
It's been about 12, 15 years.
Since 2014?
Maybe 2013 when he committed.
Once he committed, everything had to go. Had to go.
Right.
We'll make that happen.
That's right.
Y'all heard it here first. First.
On the couch.
On the couch, baby. On the couch. Well, look, we got a huge game coming Sunday night.
Huge.
Lions, Vikings. This is the most important game of the season. The Lions win, they number 1 seed, get the first round bye, and they get home field throughout. They lose, Number 5 seed, they go on the road throughout. How important is this game for the Detroit Lions?
Very important. They need to get healthy. They're 8-0 on the road. So, I mean, the mindset is like, okay, let's get out of this game healthy, and then we'll worry about the health the following week. But if they can take a week off and really heal their bodies, and again, not a week off, a week to prepare.
Extra week to prepare
and heal their bodies at the same time. That would be huge for them. Then it's 2 games instead of 3. You got them both at the house. So I think it's a big game. But it's not the end of the world either. Because like I said, if anybody can win on the road, they've shown that they can. Now, do you want to put them chips on the table? You know, do you want to win all these games and then say, you know what? Do you want to, bail out of it by getting some home games? Because I would rather have them at home than not. But they've shown that they can do both. So, but it's huge for them, man. But it's huge for Minnesota too. Because I don't think Minnesota doesn't have that track record on being on the road, like that. So, they need to probably be at home more than Detroit.
So you think this game is bigger for Minnesota than it is for the Lions?
Yes, I do.
Now, here's my point, and here's why I disagree with you. Lions don't win this game, the season is over. And I say this to say, it's only 5 teams in the history of NFL football who's went on the road and won 3 games on the road. And they had 4 of those 5 teams had 4 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. We got a good quarterback, but he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. 98 Patriots, they didn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. 2005 Steelers, Roethlisberger. 2009 Packers, Aaron Rodgers. 2020 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady. And I can't remember the 4th one. But statistics say that you lose this game and you have to go on the road to win 3. It's only 5 teams that ever did it, ever, in the history of the NFL. And 4 of those 5 had a Hall of Fame quarterback. We have a good quarterback. But, hey, I don't think he's Hall of Fame yet. But this is the biggest game in the Lions' history. Like you mentioned earlier, we win this game. We home for a week to prepare. Actually, 2 weeks to prepare. You only got to win 1 game to get to the NFC Championship, which we will host. We'll host both home games. If we win tomorrow, which I'm predicting that we do, I got the Lions winning this game 38-31. In a shootout, I just hope we can get 4 stops, whether it's picks, punts, or change of possessions. We can't let Minnesota run up and down the field like the Niners did, or like the last 4 or 5 games. We've given up 30 points a game. When you mention our home record, we've lost 2 games at home, but we 8-0 on the road. But the thing about that is we've beat teams by 12 points on the road, and we've won at home by 12 points. So that's kind of a wash. So,
and I think you kind of making my point. I think this Minnesota game, this is a huge game, but it's the next game on the schedule. This is the next game on the schedule. The next game on the schedule is the most important game. I don't think this is a Lions lose, the season's over game. I think they go in there, and if they lose, I think everything they still want is right in front of them. They've proven that they can go on the road and beat anybody. The 2 games that they've lost have actually been at home. In terms of having an extra week to get healthier, I don't think anybody else is coming back. I think the best chance that we have is maybe David Montgomery at some point in the playoffs, he comes back. But the running game to this point has not suffered.
It has not
suffered.
Probably
since David Montgomery has been out.
Probably didn't got better.
It could have gotten better.
It probably didn't got better.
Since he's been out.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. You want that 1-2 punch in the lineup. But it hadn't hurt us yet. I think what's hurt us is the defense. Anzalone's coming back this week. I don't think there's anybody else coming back. Who we have is who we have.
Yeah.
So an extra week to get healthier, I don't think there's anybody else that we're getting healthier for an extra week.
But
with that being said, I still think the Lions win tomorrow. Minnesota hadn't beat Detroit since 2022. I think they got these guys numbered. I agree with you. They're about 3 to 5 stops away because right now they can't stop a nosebleed. They got to get 3 to 5 stops tomorrow.
Right.
And I don't think they get much more than that because they've proven that they just, defense is just, they can't.
We don't have the body. We don't have the
body.
bodies. Right.
They're just going to have to outscore Minnesota tomorrow. I would love to have 2 home games. Love to have 2 home games in the playoffs. We talked about it on this podcast before, what this city is like when the Lions are winning and in the playoffs and playing deep into the playoffs. So I definitely want to see that. But all is not lost in my mind if somehow they don't win tomorrow.
Well, here's the problem. The 2 teams that we probably have to face, if we do lose, Tampa has beat us before. We have to go on the road at Tampa. Their strength is passing the ball and running the ball. If we have to go to L.A., they have probably a Hall of Fame quarterback in Matt Stafford, who has 2 of the top wide receivers in the game, and Cooper Kupp and Puka Kanua. So, once again, on the road, you're facing offenses that can put points up. Our defense is beat up right now. We won't get a break. We lose tomorrow, we play next weekend.
Yeah.
So, and you Baker Mayfield is a gamer, man. He a young Brett Favre. He a gunslinger. He got a Hall of Fame wide receiver out there in Mike Evans. Stafford got 2 all-pro wide receivers over there with a running game. With Cam, the running back, he had over 1,000 yards this year. Made the Pro Bowl. So it would behoove us to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a must that we win tomorrow. If you ask me,
I'm not afraid of Baker Mayfield. He ain't a mistake-free quarterback. He has proven that he can lose games as well as he can win them.
Yep, that's true.
Same with Stafford. Stafford get down early, he gonna start taking some chances and take some shots. And I like to see him take some shots against Kirby Joseph, who got snubbed, by the way, from the Pro Bowl. Got snubbed. I like to see him take his. I'm not afraid of anybody they gonna play, man. I ain't afraid of nobody they gonna play. I think the toughest challenge is gonna be Philadelphia if they get there.
If Philly get there.
If they get there. If they get to the NFC Championship game, I think that's gonna be the Lions' toughest challenge.
And you rather have that.
And the reason why he's gonna be the Lions' toughest challenge is because he's a mobile quarterback.
And
look at all the quarterbacks, the mobile quarterbacks that the Lions have faced. They've given them problems.
Well, you rather have that game at home too.
And I'd rather have that game at home.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that game.
So in layman's terms, just take care of business tomorrow.
Take care of business tomorrow, man.
Just win.
And just
what would Al Davis say?
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. So we touched on it a little earlier, talked about Saquon. Talked about Eric Dickerson's record. Saquon is 105 yards away from.
I think it's 101.
101, 101 yards away from winning it. Who they play tomorrow?
They have the Giants.
They got the Giants tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's got an opportunity to break ED's record against his former team.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they already made the decision that he's not going to play.
He's not playing.
He's not playing.
I think this is a mistake.
For
the Eagles. I think Saquon having an opportunity to break this record, having sitting out, I think is a mistake. How often do you have an opportunity at history? And it's not just Saquon's record. This is also an opportunity for those linemen to be able to say, we block
right
for the guy who broke ED's record.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're making a huge mistake. Now, they're playing the long game, thinking that they're gonna, get to the NFC Championship game, have an opportunity to be in a Super Bowl. They have nothing else to play for. But I think oftentimes coaches, franchises make a mistake in thinking that these records and these personal accomplishments aren't important. I think they are. And I think this is more than just a personal accomplishment. I think this is a team accomplishment. And I mentioned it before. I mean, linemen get when do linemen get the love? When do they get an opportunity to hold a guy up and say, hey, you know, I blocked for this guy. Most rushing yards in history.
You know what? You got a good point.
They take it away from him.
You make a good
You
point.
got a good case. I'm going to argue against it for a short second. But to that point, I remember when Barry went over 2,000 and Lomas Brown, Kevin Glover, all of those guys. I mean, then that's the only time you see them on film.
Yeah.
Is lifting Barry after he went over 2,000. I kind of have to agree with the franchise's stance on this. He's too valuable a player. Football is a brutal sport, man. He's been hurt before, playing in just a regular season game, which this is just a regular season game. It don't really mean anything as far as the seeding. I just think it's too big of a risk for him to go out there to try to accomplish a goal, which I think he probably would. But, you know, one hit, and it don't even have to be a hit. Nah,
we
you
saw
can just
that
be doing something on turf.
San Francisco.
And tear your knee up or pull your hamstring. He's just too valuable a player at this point. I would have to side with the franchise on this. And, you know, you had 16 games to get it, and you didn't get it. Now you get this extra game, extra. You know, OJ did it in 14, like we mentioned earlier. ED did it in 15. Barry did it in 16, even though the last 14 was really when he got that 2,000. So, but I would have to say Saquon, you know, I remember Sirianni, the coach from Philly, said he would talk to management, talk to ownership, and talk to Saquon just to see where everybody's head was. And if everybody was on the same page, then he wasn't going to play. So.
Man, if they went to Saquon and asked Saquon what he wanted to do, you put that guy in a bad situation. Because what he going to say?
What he going to say? Right.
What he going to say?
He going to say whatever y'all feel like is best for the team.
And that's what he's supposed to say as a team leader. But, man, these guys, man, the Eagles going to go and they're going to lose to the Lions in the NFC Championship game. And this guy going to look back 10 years from now, 15 years from now and say, man, I should have played.
Well,
at least I will have the rushing record for that year.
Well, I can remember.
We didn't win nothing.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Jess, because I know you was about to speak on it. When Barry was 5-10 yards away from the rushing title, Christian Okoye, and Dwayne Fox came to Barry and said, hey, Barry, you only need 10 yards, 7 yards. And Barry was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, but that's Barry.
But
Barry,
what I'm saying is this is, well, how we know Saquon didn't feel the same way?
Yeah, but it's the position that you put Saquon in. If Saquon is in the game tomorrow and he's playing,
he's probably not going to play.
And I'm just saying, he's not playing. It's already been decided.
Right.
But if he plays and he's 5 yards away from breaking it,
oh yeah,
Saquon is going, let's go, trap left. Let's go. Counter trade, let's go. He ain't gonna sit back and say, nah, I don't want this record.
Well, the thing was with Barry, he was already out of the game. He was sitting out on the bench. Game was won.
That's what I'm saying.
Over, yeah.
And he came and said, hey, look, you want to go back in? And he was like, nah, I'm good.
So with Saquon, he's carried the ball. This is the most he's carried the ball in his career with Philly. So he's taking a lot of toll on his body, first of all. Secondly, last week, he carried the ball 31 times, 167 yards against Dallas. We couldn't stop him at all. If he wanted the record, he should have stayed in the fourth quarter and he could have got another 80 and then only been 20 away. I mean, because he was cutting through us. So once they made that decision, I kind of knew that this decision was coming. That if you didn't leave him in the game, and it was a blowout. At the time they took him out, it was 34-7.
Right.
You know, Philly ended up winning 41-7. And so you're supposed to take him out because you don't want that stupid to happen. However, if you had the record in mind, you could have got him so much closer last week, you know, in that fourth quarter. What's another 9 carries? he was killing them. 8-9 yards a carry, man. So he would have cut into that, and then this would have been a tougher decision to be 45 yards away.
Yeah, you 100 yards away.
Yeah, he would have got another. He would have got another 60.
I would venture to say 15 to 20 carries that game.
He would have
depending on the kind of yardage you're getting, but
he would have got
20
another
yards.
60.
Yeah,
he would have got another 60 against Dallas easily. So I thought once they took him out and what have you, I thought the decision was made. Record be damned. Now my bigger question is, now they have 17 games. Like you said, ED did it in 15 in a 16-game season. Would we have respected the record at 17?
I would.
You still do?
I think you respect the record. It's not Saquon's fault that the schedule is 17 games. It's not ED's fault that the schedule was 16 games. You know what I mean? So you play the games that you given. You do what you do during that period of time.
Yeah.
I just think that the opportunity to make history only comes around, one time for those who are lucky for it to come around for them. Particularly in sports. I mean, how long has this record been up? 30 years? 40 years?
ED to 2000. I think it was 84.
Come
84
on.
season?
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, 40 years.
40.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
A 40-year-old record. You on the precipice of breaking that record, and these guys ain't gonna play you, man.
Well, the record will be broken 2 years once they go to 18. And then I'm gonna see where you stand on that.
Yeah, but
because it's gonna be 18 at that point.
But when you think about the every down backs, how many every down backs do we have in the NFL now? I mean, back then it was a mainstay.
Yeah,
It was a mainstay, right?
You know what I mean? You
got
have
5,
a lot
6 now.
You don't have a lot of every
Maybe
down
5.
backs.
Maybe 5, yeah.
Maybe 5.
You know what I mean? So I don't think the chances are going to necessarily increase once we go to 18 games at some point. I think it's still going to be a challenging record.
Well, it's going to be a lot of records
because it's still a pass happy league.
Mm-hmm. So you talking about less carries?
Yeah,
all of that. Yeah.
I mean, and when let's start to break it down in that way. I mean, how many carries? You know what I mean? How many touches did it got? Like,
and now
you start breaking it down that way.
You got to start looking. Will his skill set
man.
diminish? Will he be the Saquon?
No, we're not saying that he gonna get.
I'm not saying
it's gonna be somebody. Yeah.
Anybody, right?
Anybody, not just him, but anybody, man.
Well, then also on that, and this is more to your point about the records come once, and this is something for the linemen. Records come once every 40 years in this case. So these guys have stuff in their contract. Like, if you do this, you have these incentives.
Derrick Henry just reached about 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so I'm thinking, even with Saquon, this would be a feather in management's cap that's to come out, and whatever incentive it was to break a record, you put it at the bottom of the paper, and we'll add that, and now he's there. You still pay him, don't you?
Yeah, but see,
no,
but
you don't.
No,
but see,
because I don't think the incentive for 2,000 yards was in his contract, and if it was, I think management will honor it. If the guy got a chance to make $500,000, like Derrick Henry, for instance, he had 4 incentives. One was if he rushed for 1,200 yards, that was by $500,000. If he got to 1,500, that was another $500,000. I think if he get 15 touchdowns, that was another $500,000. So I think he got 3 of the 4 of his incentives. Now, of course, 2,000 yards wasn't in his contract, but if it's in Saquon's, I think they would let him play. I think then he would play.
That's neither here nor there, because they didn't have it in his contract. So I mean, that's not even a part. Here's where it really makes, where the dollars don't make sense. If I'm an offensive guard or offensive tackle, and I'm up, my contract is up, and I done blocked for a guy who took down a 40-year-old record, you got to pay me.
Well, I don't think that the record would be indicative of that guy not getting paid, because he still blocked for Saquon, rather than Saquon got 2,000 or 1,800. He blocked for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good, better.
It certainly looks better. It certainly looks better.
I mean, everybody will see that offensive guard or tackle's worth, so I mean, you block for one back that rush for 1,500. You block for another rush for 1,800. You still a good block.
Yeah, but with all things being equal, if I block for Saquon or I block for Derrick Henry, and Saquon got 300 or 400 more yards than Derrick Henry, that may matter.
It could.
In the contract.
With all things being equal. So
it could.
We'll never know.
Yeah,
we'll never know.
Yeah, he won't do it.
We'll never know because he ain't playing tomorrow. And then when they play against the Lions, they're going to lose anyway.
Man.
Here we go. Injury to Jay Nivey yesterday with the Pistons, man. Hate to see it. Hate to see it,
Young
man.
Young guy.
Broke his leg. And it had to be a pretty bad injury. Typically, when your team crowds around you to put the towel over you out on the stretcher, man, pretty bad injury to his leg. For a team that's been playing well, extremely well.
He was playing
for him, playing well, extremely well. So, man, somewhat of a setback for him. But hopefully, he can recover from it. But I think it's going to leave a huge hole for the Pistons at the guard position. Change of speed, change of directions. One of the fastest players in the NBA. And starting to come into his own. And at a time that the Pistons are really starting to play well.
They are.
And really need him in that lineup.
One last night.
But for him to go, for him to go down, man, it's just a huge blow to the team and huge blow to him.
Well, I just hope it doesn't deter from Cade's progress because they were gelling. They were starting to gel as a backcourt, and they were looking good. They were looking good, learning off of each other. You know what I'm saying? So this is another year. Now Cade's gonna have to shoulder the load again. For these remainder games, and it's sad, man. It's sad. We hope it's speedy recovery for him first and foremost. Hopefully he can bounce back next year. But what it means for the Pistons right now, they're in the 9th spot. With still a whole season
in the
to
play-in.
go.
Still in the
play-in. But Tim Hardaway's going to have to step up. Beasley, these guys aren't. It's going to come down to coaching. Bickerstaff going to have to get these guys on the right track, man. But it sounds like they, kind of feeling good about it. Even still, because like you said, they won last night. But it's going to be challenging down the stretch when things start moving forward. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to be challenging. The thing about the injury is, and I hate to say it, better a break, I think, than a torn ACL, MCL, because those are ligaments. As far as bone, he was a little bit more solid because it's bone. Although the healing process might be longer, I think just because it's a bone instead of more so than the ACL, MCL, something like that, I think he'll bounce back a little bit quicker as far as the healing process. Playing, that might be something different. But 16 and 18, won last night. Excuse me, to your point, Jess, K is probably going to have to put a little bit more on the shoulders. Bickerstaff is probably going to have to step up his game a little bit as far as a coach, as far as X's and O's. Running the offense a little bit more through Cade. Beasley probably will have to get more minutes as a sixth man. But other than that, I think they're in a good spot right now, playing good ball, coming into the All-Star break eventually. That's in February, correct?
February, yeah.
So playing good ball, man. I think they won 14 games last year, total. We already won 16 games. So I like what the direction our organization is headed. They got the 13th pick in the draft this year coming up, which is protected. So depending out there when we start talking college basketball, what players fit into the system Bickerstaff is trying to run, I think the future is bright, I think.
Solid
future.
Not to jump the gun, but they're going to need some shooting. They got two young guys now who can't hit the side of the barn. Can't throw it in the ocean. With the twin and the
Thompson. I knew Thompson was one of them.
With the twin, he more defensive. We drafted the wrong brother.
Well, no, I don't think we drafted the wrong brother. I just think that he's gonna have to develop. And young Ron Holland, I think I like him as well, but neither one of them can shoot the ball from three. And this league, man, if you play the perimeter, man, you gotta be able to knock down a jump shot. Preferably a 3-point basket to really stretch the floor. I think that's what they're gonna miss mostly with Ivy being out of the lineup.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not suggesting that he was a prolific three-point shooter, but you had to at least guard him out there and contest it. But these two guys, man, I think the three of us could probably guard the twin and guard Holland. So
me a 10-day. I need a 10-day.
Yeah, go on and get you a 10-day.
I got bills and credit. Give me a 10-day. That'll take care of everything.
Yeah, but hopefully the kid gets back, man. Gets back soon. We've seen some gruesome injuries. With these broken legs, man. Hutch and Ivy, and then a few years ago we had Paul George when he broke his ears, and the kid from Louisville, last name Ware, I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember
his
his
first name.
it was dang.
All of that,
man.
And then Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy's back though.
He back, but
back.
What happened to him in practice when he was? I want to say
Minnesota.
It was Minnesota.
Was he with Minnesota?
Or was it the Saints?
I think it was Minnesota. Because he was
may have been Minnesota. Yeah, may have been Minnesota.
Yeah,
man. So we're seeing a lot of that, man. Maybe it's just me, but it just seems like we're seeing more and more of these kind of gruesome leg injuries.
These kids ain't drinking no milk. That's all it is. Drink some milk.
You know what? I forgot who it was. They were talking about, it was Gabriel, the quarterback from Oregon, man. He was saying, more games need to be played on natural grass. Even with this new field turf. It's still turf, and although grass, you have your days on it when it's raining and stuff like that, it's still grass.
Yeah,
it got some give to it, man. So, hey, man, that's the world we living in.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna play on hardwood. Mm-hmm. I mean, hardwood is in basketball. I mean, nothing you could do about that, man. It's has very limited give to it, man. But hopefully these guys get better, man. Come back, healthy. Both Hutch and Jaden Ivey.
Mm-hmm. I can remember back in the day when George Jetson said, in 2025, field turf.
And on that note, we out of here. Another episode of the Brown Couch Bruhz. Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, like, subscribe, y'all.
Hey, we out of here.
Peace.
Go Lions. Peace.